afternoon. I'm Barry Simon. I'm the host and producer of Speak Out America and Conversations for Peace. We're here today in beautiful Beverly Hills, California, interviewing people at a Trump rally on who is a better bridge builder and who is more of a peacekeeper, whose ideas could create a more unified America. And we're getting a variety of comments. You know, one thing about my project is that I've talked about the possibility of peace among all people, but I've neglected to get a lot of across-the-board varieties of opinions. So today we're getting a variety of opinions, and it's very enlightening, to be honest, somewhat nauseating, and yet it's a picture of America. We are a divided country. One way or another, we're going to get past COVID-19. One way or another, our country will go forward. Whether it's the democracy that some people on the leftish side would prefer, or a form of democracy that those on the rightish side would prefer, we shall see. But my view is that people find a way to get along, to appreciate our differences rather than having our differences be a source of division and people digging in their heels that you're right and you're wrong, or they're right and they're wrong. As we hear the views of sides that might be opposed to us, they have a right to be here. We're in America, it's free speech, and I may or may not like it, but they have that right. And one way or another, we can hopefully create a world and a country that works for all people, with all people understood, appreciated, and respected. And the differences can be worked out in communication and not through violence. So God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in to Conversations for Peace and Speak Out America. Do you plan to vote in this coming election?
My very first presidential election I'm voting in, yes.
And do you think either candidate represents more of a peacemaker than the other?
Well, Trump is the first president in many years that has not started a war in the Middle East.
For me, Donald Trump, he's the man that I'm voting for.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's Donald Trump. Yes, absolutely. There's nobody else who's going to be better for peace around the world.
Which candidate do you feel would be a better bridge for creating some more peace and harmony in the U.S.?
Peace and harmony? It would have to be Biden.
I think Donald Trump is an existential threat to America and our future. And I think he's absolutely horrible, criminal, con man, a racist. He's definitely the worst president in American history.
Do I plan to vote? I actually don't, because I'm not registered, because I never registered. And it became a habit of not voting. I'm kind of against voting in a sort of libertarian, anarcho, whatever way, but I am a Trump supporter and I am a MAGA individual.
As far as domestically, there seems to be a bigger divide than ever in many respects. Do you see him able to bridge that and do something about bringing people together?
I think no matter what he does, it's kind of obvious whatever position he takes on anything, the media takes the opposite position. When they're hearing something about CNN says about Trump, he doesn't condemn white supremacy. I can show you right now a full 10-minute compilation of him condemning white supremacy. CNN will not show you that.
It's about the message, you know. When he talks about America, right? One of the things that I observe is that there's this kind of on the left, there's this intersectional ideology, right, that takes different groups of people and divides them based on their race, based on their color, their religion, their gender identity, right? These are all the things that they're promoting on the opposite end of the spectrum from what I'm on. I consider myself to be a conservative, right? Conservative principles aren't based on that. It's a universal situation. We're talking about America. We're talking about all people without having to divide them into categories. So that's why I'm talking about Donald Trump. When he talks about things, he doesn't pit one group against another. It's not Black Lives Matter. It's all lives matter.
The current president, his talking points and rhetoric haven't really binded the community, or in terms of African Americans, Latinos, and even predominantly Caucasians. It's been pretty much one-sided. I know he says everything's great and everything's fantastic. but hasn't really listed any specifics on what's actually great or actually what's fantastic.
No, the president is making the country much more violent. And there's lots of reports that confirm that. The Center for Strategic Studies just released a report that 90% of violence in 2020 was perpetrated by the right, and about 60% in 2019. The right wing in our country, Trump has given them permission. Look, even if the president isn't actually a racist himself, the people who are racists think that he is a racist. And he has given them a permission structure to come out of the shadows and to spread their violence and their hate all across America. It used to be embarrassing for people to say that they were a white supremacist. Now they march and they're proud of it. It's awful.
What makes you feel that Donald Trump is better at bridging the divide in this country and bringing people together?
Well, I think this concept of divide and unity and all that is just political wordsmanship. I think that it's not really a real concern. I think that the history of human nature is one of conflict and then resolution and back and forth and on until infinity.
How do you see the divisions and the violence on the streets and some of the inequalities resolved?
Well, okay, my theory is if Biden wins, it's going to empower the people that are rioting, empower the people that are using violence, intimidating people. It's going to empower them because, hey, it worked. You know, Biden's elected, so I don't think it's going to stop because their technique, they're going to feel like it worked, right? So, and at the end, other side, if Trump wins, there's going to be a lot of crybabies out there. They're going to take their hate out. Hopefully, well, probably with violence and destroying things. And I feel it's for no reason.
But do you find Donald Trump to be much more of a uniter than it sounds like?
Absolutely, 100%.
Can you point to something where he's been really promoting more of a sense of unity?
Think about when you grew up, right? We thought about America as being a melting pot, right? It was all groups of people all coming together. Martin Luther King said that each man should be judged by the content of his character and not by the color of his skin. When did it happen that we started looking at people and judging them by the color of their skin? And that is actually something that is promoted now. And Donald Trump is not doing that. So to me, when I hear "Make America Great Again," that's about all Americans. Just the slogan in itself, it's about all Americans. It's not about one particular group of people.
In one way or another, hopefully we can bridge the divide that exists and bring this country back together. But I'm afraid that there's a lot of damage.
I don't see that happening. I do not. I believe the Trump's base when they say that they're preparing for civil war. I trust them when they say that is what they are planning. We've seen it already in Michigan.
Which candidate do you feel expresses more compassion for everyone?
Of course, I'm a Trump supporter. I believe there's no one that's done more for the Jewish population and opens his heart to the Jewish candidate, to the Jewish people around the world.
I think I heard you mention before that you were leaning left for many years, and now you lean towards the support of Donald Trump.
Yes.
And could you tell about that transition?
I was really big on the left. I don't know if you know of the group Antifa, but back in the days, I was actually part of Antifa, which was about a year ago. When Donald Trump became office, a group called Antifa came to us, said, "We want you to merge with us. We want your group to be called Antifa with us." So I said, okay, we all agreed. We joined the group. Next you know, I seen as these Antifa members, always looting, always shooting, always rioting. And I was like, wait a minute, now this is separate from the cause that I want. I don't want no freaking looting. I don't want no rioting. I was like, wait a minute, everything that I support is Trump supports. Christianity, what is it called? The alpha male, what is it called? Capitalism, opening up your own business. Before, I told myself, I'll never open up my own business. I'll never do this. I'll never do that. I'll never be able to be like that rich person. Right now, I feel like I'm winning. And all I got to say is Trump 2020, baby.
Do you think the role in the United Nations of the U.S. Do you think the U.S. should have more of a role, less of a role in the UN? Do you think the UN has anything worthwhile to contribute to a better world?
I don't know. I've heard stuff about the UN condemning some things or talking bad about some things or making comments about Trump, and it's like, mind your own business. We elected the guy. Your opinion. We did a lot of work. A lot of people died to gain our independence from Britain. So America does not like being told what to do. So the UN, people that don't know what it's about to live here, don't know our lifestyle, that have no clue about what being an American is all about, is lecturing us. And, that's a big FU to them. Mind your own business.
The U.S. and the UN, do you think that's an important aspect of politics in the global realm going forward?
I think the UN should be abolished, never to return. The U.S.'s role in it is important. I mean, it is on our soil.
So should the UN be kicked out of the U.S. or should the UN be disbanded?
It should be disbanded by us. Whatever everyone else wants to do, they can do that. But it's called America First for a reason. It's not UN first. It's not the globe first.
Any last thoughts you'd like to share about the possibility of a world that works for everyone?
I really wish we have a long way to go to get that done. I think a lot of people have to listen to what we have to say, but kind of have a sense of empathy towards everyone else, and dig really deep in terms of understanding the history of this country and where we want to be.
We've just wrapped up interviewing a variety of people from both sides of the political spectrum, mostly quite a few Trump supporters at a Trump rally here in Southern California. To be honest, I feel like throwing up. I feel like it's all a waste. I feel like moving to another country, and maybe some of you that are listening say, yeah, you should. But you know what? I'll continue to be a stand for a world that works for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. Black, white, gay, straight, brown, whatever. Muslim, Christian, Jew, or no religion. We live in a small planet, in a great big universe. The idea of the U.S. being the dominant power on this planet is probably over. And the sooner we realize that we are part of a global community and find ways to work together in that global community, then we'll have a cleaner planet. We'll have perhaps a more loving community here and everywhere. And yes, maybe humans are always finding a way to be opposed to each other. Maybe that is part of human nature. But even if it's part of human nature, doesn't mean that we have to be continually owned by that view. That we can actually create and stand for the possibility of a world that works for everyone. So God bless you all. Don't forget to vote on November 3rd. And thanks very much for caring about our world and our country. God bless. Peace out.
Stand up for peace on earth. Yes, we're gonna find the way. Stand up for peace on earth. And we're gonna start today. Stand up for peace on earth. Yes, we're gonna find the way. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Peace today. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Peace today. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Stand up.